Welcome back to a brand new episode of Dolphins HQ right here in the Baptist Health Studios. What a win for the Dolphins in Week 10 over Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, highlighted by 3 takeaways and countless stops. Let's go ahead and roll the tape here. Typically on these shoots, these breakdown segments, we talk about scheme and strategy. This is going to be all about strain and effort on this play. A fumble right here. Jack Jones punches it out. Juju Brent scoops it up. Dolphins take it over and get rolling in the first half. Let's go ahead and play this thing off the top right here. You're just going to get man in a gap across the board. Good flow, good pursuit from the defense. Everybody doing their job. And I want you to watch Quentin Bell right here and Jack Jones off the edge. They're going to set the edge and play a really good force outside defender role with Jack Jones and Quentin Bell. Reset the tight end. It frees up this lane for Tyrell Dotson to shoot through. And we don't get the tackle right away, but you see them not give up on the play and strain with their effort. Jack Jones puts a paw across the football, rakes that thing out, and then look at the effort after the fact right here. Watch all these guys get into the football. They're coming downhill. You're going to see this on all 4 of the plays I'm going to show you. Strain and effort from a Miami Dolphins defense that got 3 takeaways in this football game. First one right there for Juju Brents. Let's go ahead and jump ahead to the pick in the end zone. Ifeatu Melifonwu gets his first pick as a Miami Dolphin, and this is going to be more schematics in this one. A great coverage disguise, a great blitz disguise here. They're going to cover 0 and bring 7 after the quarterback, and they're going to have a cage rush technique, which essentially all that means they want to cover up man coverage on the backside and keep Josh Allen in that spot. Do not let him create with his legs. And you're going to get really solid man coverage across the board. Here comes the blitz. That was a really well timed up run to the quarterback at the time of the snap. Here comes all 7 defenders. And Dante Trader right here has the running back in coverage, which turns into a green dog blitz. He stays back in pass protection. We're going to come after the quarterback as well. But it winds up working as like a spy roll. You're going to get all these good rush lane integrity reps across the front, and Trader has the spy position. Josh Allen has nowhere to go. There's no escape hatch. You pause it right there. Man coverage, man coverage, man coverage. Where is he going to go with the football? He has nowhere to go. It's 3rd down, so we're going to try to force one in there. And it goes right to Ifeatu Melifonwu, who secures the catch and gets a big takeaway there for the Miami Dolphins. Big time play down in the red zone. This one, more strain and effort. The Bills go with their tush-push call. It works. They get a first down, 3rd and 1, but not so fast, my friends. There's Jordan Brooks and Jack Jones teaming up to punch that ball out, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, what a game he had to recover that thing on the backside and get the ball back to the Dolphins defense. Let's go ahead and back this thing up again one more time and just show you the effort. Look at the Dolphin defenders right here. White jersey, white jersey, white jersey coming after the football. Pursue that thing. If it comes out, you can find it. We've got more white jerseys there than blue jerseys. It's how you wind up with a fumble recovery there for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Speaking of Minkah, back to a little bit more of a coverage structure, but also the effort here on the outside by both Jack Jones and Minkah Fitzpatrick. This play down around the goal line, a 2-point conversion. It's a 10-point game right here. They get it into the end zone. It's going to be a 1-possession game. You get a stop. You keep it to a 10-point game. You're going to get deep thirds right here from these off-ball defenders. You're going to get birds on a fence, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the goal line right here, and you're going to get a 4-man pass rush. The Bills do not want to throw this ball on the little swing route here to Khalil Shakur. That's not where they want the ball to go. They want to free it up on a little spot route, maybe a little corner route there. But guess what? Once again, Trader locked in coverage. All these young Dolphins defensive backs, Jason Marshall Jr., you had Juju Brents playing ball, Jack Jones down there, Minkah Fitzpatrick. These guys were locked in, connected all day long. They forced the swing route out to Khalil Shakur. Great pursuit. Watch the way both Jones and Minkah get on their horse to pursue this thing downhill right here. Ball's out. They are already flying downhill. Jack Jones slips and gets him down a little bit, but Minkah Fitzpatrick, what a job on the goal line there to keep that ball out. The pylon cam was a good shot of that, of him just pursuing that thing relentlessly. Big time strain, get the stop, get the defense off the field, maintain your 2-possession lead. This Dolphins defense played their butts off. They were inspired, they played with passion, they played really good, connected football, and it held the Bills to just 13 points in this game as the Dolphins dominate Buffalo 30-13 with a really good defensive showing. The Dolphins were awesome in this one, every way across the board, 3 phases, defense, offense, special teams, but this defensive effort set the table for the Dolphins to get after the Bills team in a big-time win. This week's Unsung Hero, presented by Microsoft Copilot, is none other than Juju Brents. Next man up mentality was on display as he filled in for the injured Rasul Douglas, and he sure made the most of that opportunity against Josh Allen and the high-powered Buffalo offense. He was targeted in coverage 5 times, allowing just 2 catches for 12 yards. He was called upon to pattern match in zone, then go one-on-one without any safety help. He came from depth and defended the run and the short passes. That 6'3" frame with arms that can touch the ground standing straight up brought a level of physicality to this Dolphins defense. He pairs that imposing demeanor with relentless effort, which was on display when he scooped up a bouncing ball after Jack Jones' second quarter forced fumble. Brents arrived back in September as a waiver claim from the Indianapolis Colts. The The calling card of this defensive backfield is playing connected in coverage, and for Brents to digest the scheme and play like that just a couple of months in, that's answering the bell. That's how you earn this week's Unsung Hero nod. This week's Opponent Spotlight, presented by Govee. We are thrilled to be joined by former tight end in the NFL and current Commanders analyst. He used to play for the Burgundy and Gold, Logan Paulsen. Logan, thank you so much for your time today, man. We appreciate it.
Travis, thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited to talk to you.
Yeah, we wanted to get you on for a couple of reasons. Obviously, you cover the current team, but also some history with our coaching staff here with Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith. So I wanted to kind of start this thing off by an opposing scouting report, if you will. You know, you're getting ready for this game over in Madrid. You played in an offense coached by with Mike McDaniel on staff, I should say. When you think about the 2025 Dolphins offense and the way Mike and Frank Smith design it, what comes to your mind, Logan?
Oh my gosh, it's such a fun offense to watch, and just it's so innovative. And I think the thing is, like, the way they kind of started this revolution in terms of like this speed motion, change of strength motion at the snap. That was so fun. And then everybody kind of took and put their own spin on it. And then the way they used, when Tyreek Hill was healthy, the way they used him to kind of create these soft bubbles in zones to create good matchups in man. The way they do stuff in the run game in terms of targeting, kind of adding hats, making sure there's good angles. The misdirection in the backfield, I think, is excellent. You know, it's just one of those things where, like, if you're a football nerd and you really enjoy watching film, and just the little wrinkles they're able to kind of delve into each and every week is just really incredible. And they just find a way to do that every single week. So there's a little bit of mad scientist to it, you know, and sometimes you're like, maybe that's too much or maybe that's too smart. But man, I really enjoy watching what they're doing there every single week. I have to cut on Miami tape, obviously, because of Mike and my relationship with Frank, but it's always a fun watch.
Before we get into the Dolphins Commanders preview portion of the show here, Logan, just real quick, I mean, I saw your face light up talking about both Mike and Frank. Any stories or recollections of times with those guys in terms of just, you know, being dudes, hanging out, or maybe about a certain player meeting, or anything you can tell us about your time with those two coaches?
Yeah, I mean, both those guys are really impactful in my career and my, you know, like, yeah, just my career in general. So I'll start with Frank. He was, I met him when I was in Chicago and we weren't very good. But the thing I love about Frank is he is just he's passionate about the athlete. He's passionate about the person when he's coaching you. And he is also just a football nerd. You know, we would kind of sit in the meetings after practice and we would just kind of talk ball, like the whole tight end room. And we'd have jokes about, you know, like different things that we were going to do when we were done playing, and different body aesthetics that we wanted to accomplish. It was just and he'll tell you more detail about that. I want to put him on blast here, but you know, like, he's just a great human being. And I love I love being around people, especially when I played, that loved ball. And Frank, not only did he love ball, but he also cared very deeply about the players. And so that's one of the most powerful relationships that I developed during my time in the NFL with Frank. And then with Mike, I feel the same way. And the thing about Mike that was so awesome, and you know, like I was going by his office when I was in San Francisco, and it's this beautiful sunny day outside, and he's got the curtains drawn down. He's sitting in his chair with a blanket over his shoulders, and I'm like, Mike, like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm just trying to see. He's like, come watch this. So like, walk in there, and he's like, I'm just trying to see how this linebacker is going to react to motion. And he was literally like, I want the linebacker to be here, but I want the fullback to be here. And he was like, play pausing, play pausing, play pausing. And it just upped my total. I knew he was a brilliant dude, but it just upped my respect for him, because like, here he is grinding his face off to make sure that we are in the best position to be successful on Sunday. And so that's the kind of stuff that, like, both those guys bring. And I just have the utmost respect for both of them. They're brilliant dudes. They care about football. They care about the guys they're coaching. And I can't say anything more kind about a coach, in that they just care deeply and they want you to be successful.
Let's go ahead and pivot. Those are great stories there, Logan. I appreciate you telling us those. Let's get into the Commanders roster and just this game in general here, and just start at the quarterback position. Obviously, no Jaden Daniels with the elbow injury. How has the offense changed under Marcus Mariota, who's got playing time last year, again this year? What's different about that with Daniels versus Mariota in the lineup?
Yeah, I don't think the offense changes really at all with Marcus, which is great. Obviously, there's certain kind of advanced metrics that change: scramble percentage, number of kind of deep shots down the field. All that stuff kind of changes, but the offense at its core is the same. I think the difference in the offense from last year to this year, on the whole, is driven more by the receivers in the skill positions. Obviously, like, Terry McLaurin's out, Noah Brown's out. They're really banged up in that regard. You know, Traylon Burks was on the street a couple weeks ago. He's playing for this team now. Robbie Chosen was on the practice squad in San Francisco. He's like a starting wide receiver for this team now. So they've kind of had to shift this, going from like this spread out kind of find your best matchup approach. We're going to kind of displace people from the box to run the football with formation. And they've gotten into more of like, hey, the strength of this team now offensively is the offensive line and the tight end. So they were in a little bit more 13 personnel this week. They've been in 12 personnel a ton this year. So I think it's not necessarily the quarterback that changes the direction of the offense. It's more the skill position players and where they're at with that at the moment.
There's all kinds of options there on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I'm curious to get kind of another, opposing scouting perspective, or I guess your internal scouting perspective. If you're preparing for the Commanders' defense as a tight end, Logan, or just a general offensive player in general, what are some of the key defensive principles there by Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr.?
Yeah, I mean they're in like a tough spot at the moment, right? They come off of losing by 20 points the last 3 games. They've given up 40 points on most of the last 3 games. Like it's been a tough conversation on this end, and that's been a big talking point in the media today, last couple of weeks. Like that's the thing is offensively you see glimmers, right? You see flashes, you see things you can build around. Defensively right now, there's just not a whole lot to be super positive about. And I think in Dan Quinn's presser post game, it was like, we just got to figure out something that we can hang our hat on. And I think that's the frustrating thing right now is they're having a very challenging time stopping the run. There's a lot of coverage busts in the back end. And, I love Dan. I played for Dan when I was in Atlanta in 2017. And so I have the utmost confidence that he's going to do everything in his power to figure this thing out. But at the moment, there's just not pieces to kind of say, oh, this is something we're really good at. This is something to be excited about.
He is former tight end turned analyst Logan Paulsen. Logan, that was awesome, man. I can't tell you how much that fits in line with what we go for on the show here. So a perfect guest, 10 out of 10. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your time. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, man. Really appreciate it.
Welcome back into the Baptist Hill Studios for a special edition of Dolphins HQ, as I am joined today by the president of the Dolphins fan club in Spain, Hugo Manero. And Hugo, the fans know you from your appearance on the stage at the NFL draft when you announced our selection of Jordan Phillips back in April.
Hi, I'm Hugo, live from Madrid, where the Dolphins will play the first ever NFL game in Spain this season at Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. And with the 143 pick, the Miami Dolphins selects Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle, Maryland Dolphins!
Can you talk to us about that moment for a second? How did that come to be, and were you nervous? How did that whole pick go down for you?
I was really nervous because I go to Madrid. I don't live in Madrid, and then in the stage of the announcement, it was a really big producer, cameras, and I got really nervous there because I was there with my passion, with my long time love for the Dolphins, and it was really quick. All was really quick. I got the name, and I had only 20 seconds to repeat the name in my mind and leave to the wall, the pick.
Take us through your excitement of the announcement of this game and what it means to you to see the Dolphins in your home country.
I can describe it with words. It's like to feel the Dolphins, the franchise I love and I support a long time ago, feeling near you. Here in your country, coming to Spain, counting with the fans, it was really important for me that the franchise always and from the very first moment choose to interact with the Spanish fans. Jason Jenkins, long time ago, contacted me for doing all this stuff, and it's a great opportunity for me that the Spanish audience increase their love for the NFL and, of course, for our Miami Dolphins. I hope all the Spanish fans became Dolphins fan because I think we've got really close and we can connect for all the staff, the Miami, the Sun, and I only hope that the Spanish fans increase their support and their love for this amazing sport.
Well, yeah, I'm curious to hear about how you became a Dolphins fan because I know it didn't just happen recently. So for your perspective, like, maybe a little bit lucky that you wound up getting the Dolphins in that Spanish market. And like, I just think it's so cool that they're going to be there for you. And they've put their flag there, if you will, to have such representation. How did you become a Dolphins fan? How long have you been a Dolphins fan?
I'm a Dolphin fan since 1999.
99. There you go. I love it.
I was starting my college studies. I had to move on from my city, from the city where I was born to other city, and in that city I live with partners in a shared flat, in a shared apartment, and then the apartment was always very loud. It wasn't silent in the afternoon, and I started to study at night. In my breaks, when I was studying, I put on the TV and I discovered it in an international channel, the NFL. I didn't understand in those years anything about the sport. I fell in love immediately with the sport because I practiced martial arts in my childhood, and the battle in the trenches between the D line and the O line, it was amazing for me.
It spoke to you.
Then I realized I had to choose one team to support, and in those years I only know two names: Joe Montana and Dan Marino. Marino was in the last years of the career. I get one photo of both of them. I saw Joe Montana. I didn't like what I saw, the jersey of the 49ers. And I saw the Dan Marino's photo, their curly hair, the number 13, the colors of the jacket. And I said, this is my team.
I'm so excited for you, Hugo. Have the best time out there. He is Hugo Manero, the president of the Dolphins fan club in Spain. Thank you so much for your time. And again, like seriously, soak it all in. Enjoy this moment because I know how much it means to you. And again, Hugo, thanks for your time today. So we appreciate it.
Thank you, Travis.
That's going to do it here for this episode of Dolphins HQ from the Baptist Health Studios. Don't forget to check out the Drive Time podcast, hosted by yours truly, available 5 days per week wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the Dolphins YouTube channel for new episodes of Mic'd Up, Coach McDaniel breakdowns, and media availabilities. We'll see you next week to look back at the first ever Madrid game and recap the first 11 games of the season with the Dolphins on their bye week. Enjoy an exciting week in the NFL, and we'll see you soon.